Hey guys, how's it going? I cannot wait to release this video and share it with you guys. We have 111 days, we have 14 hours, 42 minutes, and now 17 seconds until the 2020 NRL season begins. Now, I really miss making NRL content for you guys, and I'm going to try and pump it out as much as possible. I've got my Parramatta jersey on. What will Parramatta finish? What will the Knights finish? Let's do this. The NRL 2020 predictions coming up now. So before we begin with the actual teams and the rankings from 16th to 1st, now let's just say I've been doing this predictions for maybe about 2 months now. It's been quite a bit of time. I think it's been 5 weeks since the NRL Grand Final. It's now the 23rd of November and it was around the 5th, so maybe a little bit longer actually. But anyway, let's do it. So we're going to do Dally M, coach, winger, like the team of the year, fullback, those type of thing. Let's break these down. Dally M, there are 3 contenders for this one for me. The first is Adam Reynolds. I'm expecting a big year for the Rabbits, and I think Adam Reynolds can get not just one, but a few different positions. Second, I'm going to go with Luke Keary. If he plays a full year, we see him consistently performing for the Roosters. And I think if he doesn't get injured and plays really well, he is a massive contender for this side. The other one I'm going to go with, I'm not sure if he's going to be as consistent as he was this year. I can almost say last year now, but that is Josh Papali. I like his gritty style of play. Can he get 3 points every week? That is the question though. Can Canberra be as dangerous as they were and go to another grand final? The coach of the year, I'm going to go with Trent Robinson, or a team that I think is going to pick up this year, and that is Paul Green from the North Queensland Cowboy. For winger, I'm going to go Josh Addo-Carr. I think Josh Addo-Carr is going to be the winger of the year. I think he's going to have a breakout big year, and I think coming close will be Nick Meaney. I like the way he plays at the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs team themselves are looking good. I think he can score some good tries. For fullback, I don't know why I'm going with this one, but I'm actually going to go Kalen Ponga. And in my opinion, Kalen Ponga, in parts, you can't deny his talent, but I think sometimes he's a little overrated. I don't know, I just think there's something about him. He's going to learn during the off-season. He's going to come out and be an absolute freak running the ball. My top try scorer is actually from the Penrith Panthers this year, and I'm going to go for Brian To'o. I think Brian To'o has a lot to bring to this game. We haven't seen, there's another level to be seen. He's scoring some amazing tries, kind of reminds me of Sivo. It always seems to be these type of people like Samoan or Fijian people that are getting winger of the year. You got Semi Radradra, you got Maika Sivo, you had David Fusatua, there's New Zealand, I'm going Brian To'o for top try scorer. For 5/8, I'm going to go with Jack White, and we're not too sure if he's staying at the Raiders. We'll find out soon, I think. But if he does play 5/8 at the Raiders and he continues to build with Aiden Caesar, I think Aiden Caesar will stay with the club. Personally, I think that Jack White can be the 5/8 of the year. Top point scorer, again, I'm including Adam Reynolds in this one. However, I do think there is a chance that Nathan Cleary could have a big year. Now, Nathan Cleary, it's going to be all his team now with Maloney gone, and I think this is a potential. But those are some small predictions. Okay, guys, let's do it. In 16th place, you are going to hate me, a lot of you. It is not that I don't like this team at all. I actually like them, but I think coming 9th is going to piss them off so much, and there's going to be a bit of a struggle with this club. I mean, you can hardly tell these things off the off-season, but I'm going with the West Tigers. Now, the West Tigers, this is actually going to be a big year, as it is going to be Benji Marshall, who has been a massive part of this club for many years. And I really hope I'm wrong, but I have a gut feeling that the Tigers are going to go from missing the 8 to coming last. Now, they've lost Robbie Farah, Mahe Whanua, Easton Masters off to the Cowboy. Madison off to the Eel. Ben Madalino has retired. Luke Brooks has re-signed with the club, as well as Michael Cheekham. There's rumours they're getting Latrell Mitchell, but we'll wait and see. Off contract this year, though, is Robert Jennings, Matt Eisenhoof, and Paul Momorowski. Now, I wonder whether Paul Momorowski will stay at the club. We'll wait and see. May also get Billy Waters from the Melbourne Storm. Look, they've played some quite aggressive game, the West Tigers, throughout last year. And as I said, I do hope I'm wrong, but one team has to come last. And my gut is going with the West Tigers. For both scenarios where I did this ladder, I both times had the West Tigers finishing in 16th position. Unfortunately, Tigers fans, I think we send Benji Marshall off with a spoon. I don't want it to happen, but that is who I think is going to get the wooden spoon in 2020. Okay, guys, in 15th position, I've got a team that is not in Australia, and that is the New Zealand Warriors. Look, the Warriors were a little bit disappointing this year, but not as bad as they could have been. A lot worse. They definitely could have been close to the spoon. They have re-signed Cody Nikorima until 2022. But they have some big losses. Blake Ashford has retired. Solomon Akata goes to the Rugby Union. Isaac Luke recently signed with the St. George Illawarra Dragons, which will be interesting whether Cameron McInnes will get that number 9 spot or whether Isaac Luke will maybe come off the bench. We'll have to wait and see. Off contract is Jared Beale, Adam Curran, Peter Hiku, Blake Green, Isaiah Papali'i, and look, I think that the Warriors are going to be the same as they have been the last couple of years. An okay side. They made the 8 a couple of years ago. But I just think that they're going to win a few games at home, but they're going to win away games. That's where their points are going to come from. They're going to pull off these unexpected upset. We can never get a read on the Warriors, and that has been happening for quite a while now. I don't know. I just got a feeling that they won't be as good as they were when they made the 8. We'll wait and see if they do bounce back, and I do think that Stephen Kearney may depart with this club either at the end of the year or halfway during the year if they do not win some games. Coming in at 14th position, I have the Brisbane Broncos. Now, the Broncos, in regards to next year, obviously they just made the 8 this year, and I mean just. But in 2020, they will gain Jesse Arthurs from the Titans. They will get back Jordan Kahu coming back from the Cowboys to the Broncos side. They will lose Tanner Boyd. They will lose Sean Fensom. Matt Gillette has also retired. And James Roberts obviously now at the Rabbitoh. Re-signed is Corey Oates, Jake Turpin, Tavita Pangai Jr. and Matthew Lodge, all until the 2022. David Fafita is off contract soon, and so is Katoni Stagg. Look, the Broncos for me, I don't know. The issue was the halves. I just don't think the forward pack has enough experience, and that loss now of Matt Gillette, who has been a big part of both the Queensland team and the Brisbane Broncos, I think is going to be a massive loss for them. The Broncos are one of the most followed teams of the NRL, so I can see the NRL trying to get them up as much as possible. But I'm going to say this, and this is a big call. I don't see the Broncos making the top 8. Regardless of whether they're going to finish 14th or whether they're going to finish 10th, I think they're going to finish between 8th and 16th position for whatever reason. I just don't see them going that good this year. The last game they played, Parramatta beat them 58-0. Now that is going to give them a negative mindset, and they are going to be frightened to play the Eels next. But the Broncos, for me, I'm putting them in 14th position. Next up in 13th position, I have the Cronulla Sharks. The Cronulla Sharks, I also had to miss the 8 last year, but I think this year has shown me enough that this team will not be as good. The Sharks, at the end of the season, would have actually finished 4th if the goal kicking had have been kicked. They were not kicking their goal, and it was losing them game. They welcomed back Jesse Ramian, and he has re-signed from the Knights back to the Sharks until 2023. So quite a nice contract there. They lose Jaden Brayley to the Knights. They lose Fecky to Super League. Kyle Flanagan, who I think he can mature as a player, but I just don't know how he's going to partner with Luke Keary at the Roosters. He's gone to the Roosters. Paul Gallen, massive loss. He is retired. Re-signed is Wade Graham, Brendan Hamanueli, Ronaldo Matadia, Britton Nakora, and off contract is Matt Pryor, Sione Katoa, and Josh Morris. It'll be interesting whether Josh Morris decides to stay with the club. But I just think the Sharks, not only do they not have someone who can kick their goals properly, they lack a little bit of experience. They have some young talent in the form of Bronson Cherry and Britton Nakora, but I think that their forward pack needs to be looked into a little bit more. It's not as monstrous as we think. And I just don't see the Sharks going 100% well. But I think every team is going to have quite a few wins. But the Sharks are one of these teams that I think are going to finish close to the bottom. Coming up in 12th, it's finally time I mention them. You're probably thinking, where the hell are they? They were so shit this year. But they're going to strike back. They're going to be a completely different team. There were too many players off contract to re-sign everyone. Now, Jai Arrow, I don't think he'll be at the club. AJ Brimson, I do see him being there. Dale Copley, we'll wait and see. I think he has potential at another club. Anthony Don, think he'll re-sign. Ryan James, also think he'll be there. Kevin Proctor, be there. Nathan Peets, not sure. Really not sure. Tyrone Roberts, I heard rumour that he is leaving the club. I think I heard Knights or Panthers. We'll wait and see with that one. 2020 gains, Callum Watkins, who we've seen a bit of from the Leeds Rhinos. He's there till 2021. By the way, I'm talking about the Gold Coast Titans, that team that everyone seems to absolutely forget about. Re-signed is Fodawaker and Jai Whitbread. They lose Jethy Arthurs to the Bronco. The retired experience of Michael Gordon and Will Matthews also retired. Now, I don't know. I just think this team is going to be a lot better than they were. I think there's going to be some surprise signings, and I think kind of like Ricky's Raiders getting Englishmen, there is potential for this side to either get Englishmen or get no-name kind of players that actually play really good footy. I do not see these Gold Coast Titans side making the top 8. I will say that now, 100%. This team is struggling. But I do see them learning and maturing as a team, learning how to play some good footy. There was not, I know they were wooden spooners, but there were some good tries scored from this team, and you've got to give them credit for that. But it'll be interesting to see whether the new coach, that is Justin Holbrook, I look forward to new coaches in the NRL, whether he can lead this team into a new direction or whether the Titans, once again, will be a flop. In 11th position, I have the Newcastle Knights. Jaden Brayley is now part of this club, coming from the Cronulla Sharks. I can't pronounce the name. Inari Tutola comes from the Cowboys for 1 year. They lose Jamie Buhrer to retirement. They lose James Garvey. They lose Slade Griffin, who has played many years of footy. Sean Kenny-Dowell as well. Braden Musgrove. Jesse Ramian. Nathan Ross retired. And that's about it. Re-signed is Heimel Hunt. Off contract is Mitch Barnett, who I think they should re-sign immediately. I think he's a very underrated player. And Connor Watson. And Aiden Gura. So the Knights for me, it's strange. I said that Kalen Ponga will be fullback of the year, but I think that they will finish 11th, and they finished 11th this year as well. And I'm still sticking with that prediction. I think there's going to be some talent from this team. When I think of the Knights, I'm kind of thinking towards the Bulldogs. If you think they had a lot of losses at the start, struggling in the middle, but then they have a charge home towards finals, which seems to happen every year for the Knights. But I just don't think that the Knights will make the 8. and I think 11th position is a safe bet for this team. Coming in at number 10, I have the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. I am sure that a lot of people are going to have the Bulldogs in the 8, and that's not to say that they won't make it. I think they are going to come very close, but I just don't think they'll get there just yet. I think a few more signings may help them. We'll wait and see. Dean Britt, a 2020 gain from the South Sydney Rabbitoh. Sione Katoa from the Panthers. Joe Stimson from Melbourne also has signed till 2022. Dallin Watene-Selesniak re-signed till 2022. They lose Michael Leisha. They lose Reece Martin to the Super League. Jeremy Marshall-King has re-signed, as well as Jaden Ockenbaugh. There's a lot off contract. Kieran Foran, Marcelo Montoya, Aidan Tolman, Will Hopewate, Brandon Wakeham, and Jack Cogger, as well as Adam Elliott. I think I might have said that though. I don't know. The Bulldogs, they had a massive charge home and they look dangerous. And as I said, I think they're going to play some very good footy. There is a few more positions to work on, but this team is starting to look good. I really like Nick Meaney. Love Dallin Watene-Selesniak. He looks dangerous with the ball as well. Really like the aggression of Corey Harawira-Naera as well. I think Adam Elliott and Josh Jackson as well played some pretty good footy throughout the year. We'll wait and see. I just have this team just outside the 8. I think they are very close to being a top 8, potentially a top 4 side with a few more key signings. We are getting very close to the top 8 now. We are in 9th position, one off. Normally it's the West Tigers. For me, I think this team are going to be kind of the Parramatta of the year. They were terrible last year, and I mean, Parramatta did play final, but no one was expecting them to do as good as they did. I think a lot of people have this team coming last, second last, probably have the Titans with them. You guys seem to all think that this team pairs with the Titans. That is the St. George Illawarra Dragons. I've got this team just missing the 8. I think they're going to bring a lot of pride to the club. Isaac Luke is a big signing, experienced player, something that they need. They lose Jeremy Lattimore due to retirement, as well as Gareth Widdop to the Super League. They've re-signed Matt Duffy. They just need to get their combinations right for mine. They have a lot of off-contract players and options. I think they should keep Ewan Aitken. Jack DeBellin, obviously he can't play. It's got him here. James Graham is off contract. Zach Lomax off contract. Ravalawa. There are a lot of players that they could not get rid of, but work on. They need to work on things as a team. But I don't see this team going as bad as everyone thinks. And if it gets to round 1 and they get flogged, I'm just going to look down and go, oh, shit, why? But I just have a good feeling. Now, the Dragons will share Cogra with the Cronulla Sharks. And I actually think that they are going to do a lot better at home than the Sharks are. I mean, it's not the Sharks' home as such, but I see the Dragons being quite a dangerous side through the year. Kind of like I predicted the Bulldogs to be last year, and they were that grueling side towards the end of the season. But I think this will be a fairly consistent season with quite a few wins coming from the St. George Illawarra Dragons. I look at their forward pack, Tyson Frizzell. They've just got some big body. Tarek Sims, just some origin players. And we'll wait and see. But I like what's coming from this club. We now move on to the top 8. Now, if your team hasn't been mentioned yet, comment how excited you are in the comments that I think your team will be playing in the NRL 2020 final. Now, in 8th position, I think they will struggle at the start of the year without some players due to injury. But the Manly Sea Eagle, they welcome back Travojevic brothers. They have re-signed. Tom won't be back, I don't think, for the first couple rounds, just to keep safe. We'll wait and see. Braden Musgrove has signed with the club. Ben Travojevic, I can't wait to see what this new Travojevic brother does and if he is as good as they say. They lose Kane Elgey and Trent Hodkinson due to retirement. Api Coruscant goes back to the Panthers. I was liking Api Coruscant off the bench. We'll wait and see. There's been a little bit of trouble with Manly in regards to the off-season. A few different players. Re-signed is Adam Fanua-Blake, Ruben Garrick, Jack Gausaki, George Tafua. Can't wait to see those big hits back on the screen. Off-contract players include Moses Sully and Martin Tapau. Look, I think Manly, I actually had them outside the 8 originally. I think this is a safer bet now. Manly to just make the 8th in 8th position. A lot of people see this being a quality top 4 side. As I kind of said with other teams in regards to some big signings and them being close to being there, I think that's the same with the Sea Eagle. They're close to it. Des Hasler's going to have this team pumping again. They are going to play final. Just for me, only making 8th position. Next up, guys, in 7th position, another team within the 8, I'm going to go the Penrith Panthers. Now, the Penrith Panthers, Api Coruscant, as I mentioned, from the Sea Eagle. There is a lot of losses for this side, a lot. But I think they're going to be a bit of an underdog. Now, they lose Wonga Blake to the Eels, Regan Campbell-Gillard to the Eel. They lose Tim Grant due to release. Sione Katoa to the Bulldog. James Maloney, that experience is gone. Dallin Watene-Selesniak, I mean, he was gone a while ago, though. They've re-signed James Fisher-Harris, which I think is really good. They've re-signed Jerome Luai, Liam Martin, and Brent Naden, which I think are some smart choices, players, definitely, for the future. Off contract, you've got Dylan Edwards, Tyrone May, Brian Toe. Re-sign him right friggin' now. And Malachi Watene-Selesniak. Look, the Panthers, for me, they're going to be a bit of a threatening side. I love Kickow, love James Fisher-Harris. I don't know who's going to play their fullback. It has been Dylan Edwards. I think it's time for a new fullback. I think Dylan Edwards maybe could be a bench player. I'm keen to see more of Liam Martin and Jerome Luai, some young talent. Liam Martin was very good in the forward pack when he had the chance to play. And Jerome Luai looked to be potentially the future for this side. But I cannot take anything away. And I'm excited to see Matt Burton. I hope they sign and play Matt Burton. Hopefully it wasn't a one-off game because he was fantastic against the Sharks. But I think the Panthers are going to go from 10th position to 7th position and finish inside the 8 in the 2020 season. Coming up in 6th position is the North Queensland Cowboys. They have a new stadium, just like we did this year. And I think this team is going to be a mixed bag and they're going to surprise a lot of people. I do see them finishing in the 8. I don't see finishing 4th. Now, Valentine Holmes has officially been released from the NFL, New York Jets, and there is rumours, big rumours for a while now, and there were rumours last year as well, that he is to sign with the Cowboys. That would be massive. I really like Scott Drinkwater. And I think he deserves that fullback spot, but you can't not put Valentine Holmes at fullback. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this side because Scott Drinkwater is there now until 2021. They have got Eason Masters from the Cowboys, who I actually like in the centres. He's an experienced player, and he plays a good game of footy, in my opinion. They lose Kurt Baptiste release. They lose Scott Bolton due to retirement. They lose Jordan Kahu to the Broncos. They lose Nene McDonald, which I think is injury. It says release. I think it was injury. Gideon Mosby-Geller also released by the club. Matt Scott obviously retired. Gavin Cooper has re-signed with another year. And I think this could be Gavin Cooper's last year as well. So I think I'm expecting big things from this team. They play an opener against the Broncos. Really looking forward to that. The first game of their round against the Broncos at their brand new stadium. A lot of off-contract players. You've got Jake Clifford, you've got John Asiata, you've got Tom Opacek, you've got Shane Wright, who I really think is a good forward player and a good option to keep. But I think this Cowboys side are going to surprise everyone and they are going to finish in 6th position for me. Next up in 5th position, I have the Sydney Roosters. Cooper Cronk is a massive massive, massive, massive loss for this team. Kyle Flanagan. He's only played a couple years of footy. I like what I've seen. I just don't know if partnering with someone as good as Luke Keary, how he's going to go. They've got time to train in the off-season, but it's going to be a very different experience on the field. And I actually see quite a few teams getting the better of the Sydney Roosters. Now, re-signed one of my favourite players in the league at the moment, Joseph Manu. He's fantastic as centre. I love watching him play. Matt Ikavalu has also re-signed. Mitchell Orbison provides a bit of experience, and Tupanua, who wasn't too bad for the side as well. Nat Butcher, Jake Friend, Lachlan Lamb, Latrell Mitchell, which is obviously a big shit stir at the moment. Brett Morris and Takiaho all coming off contract. Look, I'd be locking up Takiaho, and look, I'd probably lock up Nat Butcher. I think out of those people, to not lose as much money and things like that. I think they would be two re-signings that would be big. The Roosters have been very dominative the last 2 years, but I just think Cooper Cronk is such a big, big loss for this team. But I don't think they're going to struggle as such. I think they've got a good squad without him. They've also, it doesn't have it here, they've re-signed Jared Warrior-Hargrave. He is not going to the Panthers. The rumours were not true. I think he's re-signed till 2023, so quite a long contract, 4 years with the club. But I think the Roosters, again, they're going to be one of those sides that come close to the top. I just don't see them being minor premiers and finishing outside the top 4. Now, this feels really good, and I personally don't think I'm being biased about this. In 4th position, the beginning of the top 4, I'm actually going to put my Parramatta Eels. It feels good to say that. We've won a few too many wooden spoons. I think this club is really turning around though. Wonga Blake, I don't know if I mentioned at the start, I think he's going to be the centre of the year. Once he gets that partnership with Blake Ferguson going, I think they're going to be a very dangerous combination. Regan Campbell-Gillard, experience to the forward pack is exactly what we need. I wonder whether he'll keep the mo or whether he'll be a completely different person. We've got some youngsters coming through by the form of Hayes Dunster and Samuel Hughes. Seen a little bit of Hayes, personally haven't seen much of Sam Hughes, and we welcome back a junior, Ryan Madison, from the West Tigers. Now, I really hope he doesn't leave for more money, because that's something that he tends to do. Left the Roosters, left the Tigers. But I'm actually looking forward to this. I think that we really need some big boys, and Campbell-Gillard, Ryan Madison, replacing Manu Ma'u and Tim Manor. I think it's a good signing, personally. Bevan French, we left last year. Manu Ma'u, I mentioned, Tim Manor. Tepai Maroa going to Union, and Kaiser Pritchard sadly has retired. Re-signed is Clint Gutherson, Reid Marnie, Mitchell Moses, Sebo, Brad Takarangi, but it's only till 2020, so that's a little bit confusing because this is off contract as well. I like this Parra team a lot. I think there is not much wrong with it. I think Tepai Maroa was actually letting us down a little bit. So I hope there is a signing for the bench, even if it's not a big name, just someone who comes on the field and plays good footy. Someone I really like, Stefano Utakumanu. I think I got the name right, but I'm not too sure. He's not mentioned there because it was recently. Has actually been snatched up by the West Tigers. He was someone who was meant to be in our forward pack. But no, I really like this Parra team. Obviously, it's my team, so I have a bit of a soft spot. But I genuinely feel that we can improve from last year. We finished 5th. Bank West is such a home field advantage for us. I think teams are going to be terrified coming to Bankwest after what we have done to some team this year. We won 51-6. We won 58-0. We've won 34-14. I think there was a game. I'm loving this Parramatta side. If we miss the 8, I'll be pretty fucking angry. But no, I'm happy. If you're a Parra fan like me, let me know in the comments where you think we're going to finish. Let's get on to the top 3. In 3rd position, I'm expecting a massive year from these guys. And I actually think without the experience of some of their players, John Sutton, Sam Burgess, they're going to be massive underdogs. That's right. I'm going the South Sydney Rabbitohs. 2020 gains, they almost all of these players I have not heard of, besides James Roberts and Jaden Sewer, who we've seen a few games of. But it sounds like there's some young talent coming out, which I think will be a good change for the club. George Burgess has gone to Super League. Sam Burgess, as I mentioned, is retired, as well as Greg Inglis. John Sutton retired. Kyle Turner has been released by the club. Braden Burns, Campbell Graham, and Cameron Murray, who I can't wait to see more of, have re-signed. Off contract is Liam Knight and Cody Walker. Be interesting to see if Cody Walker stays there with these young guns coming in, because there's 6 different players that look like they could bring plenty of experience. Now, this South Sydney side, I think they're going to be very, very dangerous. They're going to have a very good year. I think this is going to be Adam Reynolds' best game or best year of football. He's played very good. He's played consistently throughout the years. But 2020, something tells me, no injury, Adam Reynolds is going to have an absolutely freakish year, and he is going to be someone to watch out for. If you're a Rabbitohs fan, get excited. I'm expecting big things from the Rabbitohs. Okay, guys, now for the top 2. This is not the grand final, these top 2, though. In second place, this team has absolutely gotten it right, in my opinion. They are a team that will win, lose, but I think they have really gotten the squad to cause some damage. They played in the grand final. It's the Canberra Raiders. I think they're going to be a threatening and the team to beat this year, in my opinion. They lose Jordan Rapana to rugby union. That is a big loss, but I think they can bring out a player and maybe get a good signing. We'll have to wait and see, because he is worth a bit of money. Corey Horsburgh has re-signed. Elliot Whitehead has re-signed, as well as Bailey Simonson and Chance Nickel-Klokstad. Can't wait to see more of Chance Nickel-Klokstad. I think he's a fantastic player. Joey Leilua, Nick Kotrick, Jared Croker, Tom Starling, and Aiden Caesar. All off contract, though. We'll have to wait and see if they all choose to stay. Ricky has got this team turned around so well. The Raiders were without a doubt, but I mean, I'm an Eels fan, but I think the Raiders were the team that I most enjoyed watching play league this year. They look so dangerous. The Englishman, John Bateman especially, fantastic player. Jared Croker, for me, had one of his best years of football. I think he came close to top point scorer, but I think Latrell Mitchell, if I'm not wrong, got it. But I think this Raiders team, they're going to be threatening once again. They are going to finish in second position, just under the minor premiers. I was wondering whether this side will go so well, losing some players. We were wondering whether Cameron Smith would play, and he is. And he has found a bit of form in 2019. And I'm going to go with the Melbourne Storm as minor premiers back-to-back. However, I'm not going to go for the Melbourne Storm to get the actual title. I think there are teams that can beat the Storm. Now, Will Chambers has been released by the club. Solomon Akata has now gone to rugby union. Billy Walters has gone from the West to the West Tigers, which is Kevin Walters' son. Joe Stimson gone to the Bulldogs. Re-signed is Cameron Munster, and Christian Welch recently re-signed as well. Off contract, Ryan Pappenhausen. I'd be signing him up absolutely immediately. Justin Olam played amazing this year as well. I think this team have a very good squad, and I think once they lose Cameron Smith, I wonder whether the Storm will be as good as a team as they are now. The team that you go, shit, every year, watch out, the Storm, they're the easiest pick. They'll win every game almost. They're very hard to beat, especially at AAMI Park, but both Manly and the Raiders did it this year. Yeah, for me, this is an easy pick. The Storm with Cameron Smith, I think this will be Cameron Smith's final year in the NRL. I kind of have a feeling that he won't play out the whole year. I think something will happen, but we'll wait and see. He might finish off, which means he will play close to 340 actually. Jesus. First grade NRL game, which is a massive achievement for him. But this side, I wonder whether they've got any more big signings under the belt. The Melbourne Storm are looking good. They look like they've lost Brody Croft now to the Broncos, so it'll be interesting to see who their halfback will be. They have a few options. They've got Jerome Hughes. There was a rumour that is absolute bullshit that it's going to be Cameron Smith. I can tell you now, that's bullshit. But no, I think Melbourne Storm, as long as they sign Olam, Vunivalu also off contract, I would go Olam and Ryan Pappenhausen, get them signed straight away. And Christian Welch, at least they've extended that contract for him. That's good. Anyway, guys, that is from 16th to 1st, the NRL predictions. Let's get into the finals. Okay, guys, this is where things get really fun. I didn't do this last year, but I see a lot of channels do this, so I wanted to include this in the video. Now, I actually originally had a different ladder. I kind of spoke about the changes. I had a Storm and a Rabbits grand final. Now, that has now changed due to these. Let's do it. Week 1 of the finals. The Storm at home against the Eels. I think the Storm win 26-14. Now, because I think Eels finish in 4th position, that moves them through to week 2. The Raiders take on the Rabbits, and I think that the Raiders win this match 16-10. A little bit of a home field advantage as well. The Roosters versus Manly. 22 points to 6 to the Roosters. Originally, I had a weird prediction that the Roosters will play the Cowboys and keep them scoreless, and it will be 16-2. So if that happens, I got that right. Cowboys versus Panthers. Now, this will be at the Cowboys' new stadium as well. So I think the Cowboys will win this 18 points to 12. This moves us through to week 2, the semi-final. Oh, sorry, the qualifying final. The Eels versus the Roosters. 22-18 Para. I think at Bank West, if it is played at Bank West, is a big advantage for week 2 of the final. Rabbits versus Cowboys. I think the Rabbits romp them 26-10. As I said, I think the Rabbits are going to be a very dangerous side, and I think coming up to final after a loss in week 1, that's when they get serious. The Storm take on the Rabbits in a preliminary final. Now, this one was my grand final prediction originally, but I've gone with the Rabbits 18-16, and the Raiders will play the Eel. And no, I'm not going to be biased here. We have not beaten the Raiders at home in a long time. I think the Raiders win 14 points to 8. Now, what does this mean? This means that the Rabbits play the Raiders in the grand final. Now, I had the Rabbits winning the grand final against the Melbourne Storm originally, and I also have them beating the Raiders. I don't know what it is about this side. I think they're going to come under the radar. They're going to come very good. And I'm predicting the 2020 NRL Grand Final, Raiders versus Rabbits, with a South Sydney win, 20 points to 12. Quite a low scoring match as well. Looking forward to it. Guys, that's it. That is my 2020 NRL predictions from a Parramatta fan. Will we finish outside the 8? Will we finish in the 8? How will your team go? Leave your predictions in the comments. I wonder how long this bloody video goes for. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, which I'm sure there'll be some new people, hit subscribe. There'll be plenty more NRL content coming out. I'll see you guys next time. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video.